Hemant.
Yeah.
So my question is, recently I came across this post, Sanskrit at St. James in England, and they said that they are starting a course, 1-year course for Sanskrit and Vedant, and the participants will get an certification after they have done fully thorough reading of their textbooks, and after a Sanskrit exam given prepared by Cambridge. So like they, whenever the West does it, they do it with complete rigor. Like from bottom up, they will design their own courses and all that. So where does this stem from? Like institutional rigor or individual rigor?
So what is the question?
Question is like they do it with such rigor.
No, that is the statement. Now what's the question at the end of that?
So is this rigor because of the institutions or because of the individuals?
Okay. The rigor Indians had far greater. If you look at the old texts and the old debates, their rigor, the analysis, response, very, very high standard. But somehow we lost it. We just lost this ability to be so analytical like it used to be the case. And now it's more bhakti of Sanskrit, so and more reverence than actually analytical rigor. So the Westerners apply rigor, but their revival of Sanskrit is often suffering from these areas of removing the sacred, looking at it as for exploitation of Dalits and women and so on, and as a political system. So when they say they are reviving Sanskrit, that itself is not enough to feel happy about. You have to then see, okay, that is at the introductory level, they just want kids to learn something, they'll teach them, and there's no controversy there. As they go to more advanced levels, so what you have to look at is not what they're going to teach school people, but what are they teaching in colleges, because that is what they're leading them to. It is, you introduce somebody in a nice way, and then you lead him to somewhere else. So what is the Indology at a higher education that they have? That is what I'm critiquing. So you can get into a very nice, happy child stage kind of level, which is very good. But then as you are in it, later and later, gradually it changes. You have to keep that in mind. I'll tell you an example. Harvard, 20 years ago, somebody told me that when you take Hindi at Harvard, they're actually teaching you Urdu. And I was very surprised. So I went there and looked at their catalog and sat in some classes. And yes, they had Hindi 101, Urdu 101. The next level was 102, Hindi, 102, Urdu, like that. There had 4 levels, up to 104 you could go. So whether you registered for Hindi 101 or whether you registered for Urdu 101, the teachers, they're all sitting in the same class, and the teacher is one man called Ali Asani, a Pakistani. He's teaching Hindi 101 and Urdu 101 simultaneously. And he would start by giving a little Devanagari and a little bit of Urdu, little bit equal in the first semester. In his house, he would call them for dinners and make them feel happy and social events. But there it was all Urdu, mushaira, poetry, beautiful language, like that. And the Hindi would be protest, the Dalit protesting, story of the women being raped and all. The stories he would pick for the reading list were not nice for the Hindi, but very beautiful. These Urdu people, they are smoking their hookah and making rugs, and they're very nice people. This kind of thing. Hindus are, the Hindi walas are doing bad things. And then he could say, I'm just giving you a lot of things to read. So when you go to Hindi 102 and Urdu 102, then he starts saying that, this Hindi is very complex. You can get the same knowledge and ideas through Urdu also. So the script that he starts teaching is more Urdu script, phasing out the Devanagari. And the subject matter is more and more Urduized. By the time you are in 104 level, you are totally gone as far as I got this from a couple who were Indians, Hindus, from good, solid Hindu parents, husband, wife, they met in this class, both Hindus, and they'd gone through this training. And they hated they were full of this, but isn't it caste system, sir, and didn't the Aryans come? I mean, all that kind of thing put into their brainwashing. So how they started was very beautiful in the early stage. Gradually, where they took it was very dangerous. So you have to evaluate a whole program from beginning to end. You have to evaluate where it starts, how these people later years, where it takes them. The point being that if we lose control over the teaching of Sanskrit and Sanskriti, no matter how beautiful it looks like they're doing, it's not going to end up well. We have to provide the curriculum. You know, Japan provides a curriculum called How to Study Japanese Language, Japanese Culture, Japanese History, Japanese Thought. They have a Japan Foundation, and they have DVDs and training programs, and they are the ones who do it. Similarly, the China Institute provides the curriculum to the American school system on how to teach China. Korea Foundation has on how to teach Korea. The Council on Islamic Relations gives you books and gives you material how to teach Islam. We are happy that we don't have to do it, sir, they are doing it. So I have a problem because this never ends up well. Outsourcing our culture to others is what we did during the East India Company time. They came and said, we'll take all your manuscripts. You know, most Sanskrit manuscripts, the oldest ones, are outside India, even today. They were taken because they would look after it more. And they will give us all the knowledge we need. But we should get it back. You see, so I think the custody of our tradition, how to teach it, the curriculums, the pedagogy should be developed here by people who are trained in a traditional system. They have Shraddha, they have Sadhana, and it's our own people who are to be developing this and exporting it.